So I'm going to share with you my 3 keys to emotional freedom. And I know that sounds a bit cheesy or whatever, but these are the 3 things that really do make a difference. And I have discovered them kind of one at a time. And when you put them all together, really, it's phenomenal. And these principles have changed my life and for hundreds of other people who I've worked with in the last couple of years. And I can guarantee that 99% of you, like I've said, won't know all of these keys, won't understand them, won't know how to do them, how to implement them for themselves or for other people. And I can absolutely guarantee that the kind of people that we speak to when we reach out to for help, who do a great job, by the way, doing what they do, there's some amazing people out there, but I guarantee that 99% of the people that you reach to won't know these either, and it'll all be brand new to them. So key 1 is emotional resilience. Now, emotional resilience to me has to mean more than just simply emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is a key buzz phrase at the minute. People are talking about emotional intelligence. It's very important. But from what I've seen as an outsider looking in, somebody who I believe I know quite a bit about emotions, I look at the most emotional intelligence trainers and seminars and books. I mean, I've read Daniel Goleman's book, who is I've got it there, the main guy when it comes to emotional intelligence, and he wrote basically the key mark book, the flagship book on emotional intelligence, and it's fine. But for me, the things that I'm going to share with you here, there's still a lot in there that he hasn't talked about. And we need to be more than intelligent about our emotions. We need to be resilient. We need to be able to manage whatever's going on inside, regardless of what's going on outside. We need to be able to stay firm and stand our ground, regardless of what's going on outside. And that's how you become resilient. It's one thing to be intelligent and to know when something's going wrong or something's going wrong with somebody else, and to be able to manage these emotions and feelings and connections. And that's very important. And it's great that people are now starting to talk about that. But what I'm going to share with you is like light years ahead of what most people talk about when they talk about emotional intelligence. So emotions are way more powerful, far more powerful than this intelligence itself, than logic. Emotions always trump logic every single time without fail. It doesn't matter how long you try and make sense of how you feel, talking it through with people, which is important because we are social creatures, and talking is important, and I'm not going to say it isn't. But when you start to work at the level of emotions and you start to understand your emotions better, then the results are so much faster. It's not about just working with emotions, and it's not about not just working with logic. It's about having a balance. And at the minute, we are far too much trying to solve our problems with logic, trying to solve our problems with intellect. And this, of course, comes from, going back to Freud's day and, psychotherapy at large. It's all about trying to understand things. But you know what? Our problems aren't all up here. Our problems are more likely to be our feelings and our emotions, and being able to manage those effectively. So I discovered pretty quickly that emotions are the key to overcoming stress, anxiety, worries, and even physical health issues. There's a link between these emotions, between the body and the mind. And when our emotions are going crazy and haywire, our mind suffers first and our state of being, and the body follows that afterwards. So even just by being healthier with our emotions and our internal state, we can see improvements in health as well, and I see that quite a lot, and it's quite remarkable. Great things can happen when we have emotional freedom, but we must learn how to fight for it, hence the emotional freedom fighters. So when these emotions are going crazy, it affects our lives very, very powerfully in our state of mind, as I've said. But the decisions we make when we've got an emotion, that can affect the choices that we make. It can affect the habits that we form, what we do every day in our lives. It affects what we are willing to accept from others, or are we going to stand up for ourselves. These emotions can affect everything. And of course, just blatant emotional reactions such as rage and anger and hate, all of these things can be affected by what's going on with how we've managed our emotions previously. and as I've said, the health as well. So this is the common, pretty well known scale of emotions, where we have positive, high frequency, high vibration, whatever you want to call it if you believe in that sort of stuff, high vibration emotions at the top, which we do experience, but not as much as we tend to experience these ones at the bottom, which is the big sort of crying shame and mystery of our time. Why do we tend to experience these emotions at the bottom more than the ones at the top? Is it because life's difficult and we all seem to struggle? Well, that's part of it. But what I'm trying to say is that it's not what's happening around us that's important. It's how we manage what's going on around us. And of course, you can never be perfect. If the whole world's falling apart around you, then it's very hard to be in love and joy and freedom. But it's about doing better. It's about knowing what to do and when to do it, and to be able to recover from these bad things that happen to us far quicker than what I see people doing on a daily basis. So these negative emotions are not always fleeting. They're not always here today and gone tomorrow. Positive emotions tend to do that. They tend to be nice, we enjoy them, and off they go, and they disappear. Negative emotions, because we resist them, because we see them as something that we're not comfortable with, and we have this internal battle with them, negative emotions get stuck, and they get stuck in our bodies, and they can stay in our bodies for up to the rest of your life. They might stay a couple of years, but they will stay in our bodies until we've learned what they meant and we've dealt with them, and we've allowed this energy to dissipate and to process. So these emotions that get stuck are real physical things that we call trapped emotions. Trapped emotions are actual physical things. If you think about a sphere of energy that can become trapped in the body, that's what it is. If you imagine like a ball of energy, and they can stay with us for minutes or decades, as I've just said, and over time they can lead to more negative issues and physical issues as well. These negative balls of energy, if we have enough of them, you know, it's that old thing, like attracts like. That sort of, the energy is like magnetic, and it'll just create more and more and more, and the more you have, the harder it is to get to the top of that emotional scale, and the easier it is to get pulled down, further down the scale. The more we have, it's like we're carrying this weight, we're carrying this burden around with us. You know, some people have got the weight of the world on their shoulders. It's all weight, and it's all energy, and it's completely real. Most people have hundreds, if not thousands, of trapped emotions, and this is one of the biggest shifts I want you to take away from this presentation. Most people have tons and tons and tons of negative trapped emotions that they've gathered as they've gone through life. Things have happened as they've experienced life, and they haven't dealt with it as perfectly as they should have done, which is nobody's fault, because people didn't know how to do that. And they've accumulated all of these emotional burdens over time, which affect how they go forward, how they react to things. You know, if you think about when you were young, you had wide open eyes, you had optimism, you'd run up to a stranger and say hello. There was nothing stopping you from doing that. But over time, as you get rejected and worries and all this some sadness and things happen like that, a bit of fear gets stuck, and you don't do things as easily. So that just shows how effective these emotions are. And when we have loads and loads of them, they take energy away from the body. These trapped emotions cost us energy, and our internal battery runs low. Not that we don't have the energy to get up. You know, people might still have the energy to run a marathon, to exercise every day. They might go to work, they might feel absolutely fine, but it's a different sort of energy I'm talking about. I'm not talking about, you know, the glucose and glycogen that fuels muscles. I'm talking about your internal vitality, your internal battery, that this energy that's used to repair cells, that's used to keep your organs healthy, that keeps a nice peace of mind. You know, your willpower, it's hard to have good willpower when your battery's low. Those are just some examples. So the more trapped emotions we have, the lower our average state becomes, and the more difficult and painful it can be. So it's amazing the impact that these emotions have on our lives, from what we want from our lives for ourselves, where we want to be in life, to where we find ourselves. There's like a gap. And if you think about the magnetic charge of these emotions, it's almost as if there's an invisible force field holding you back from where you want to be. Now, when we learn how to release these negative emotions, it gets us closer. It narrows that gap. It gets us closer to where we want to be. And don't get me wrong, of course, you've still got to work for what you want. You've still got to do things. These emotions aren't a magic pill when we release them. But without this energetic barrier standing in the way, you can find that life just becomes easier. And a lot of people actually say that they feel lighter because this energy's been released, this weight's been released. So there are a lot of common sense tips that you can follow so that you become more emotionally resilient. You don't trap these emotions as easily, and you can work on techniques to release them. But the best way that I've found, the big secret that I've discovered, is that emotions, it means energy in motion. These emotions are energy, and when we work at the level of energy, we release the energy from them, everything changes. So this brings me nicely on to key 2 of the 3 keys that I'm sharing with you now. And this is energy clearing, energy work, energy therapy, whatever you want to call it, dealing with the internal energies that flow within the body. Makes all the work so much easier. It's phenomenal. You don't need to struggle half as much as you may have done before. You don't need to spend as much time talking over problems that you've got. We release the energy, and it's ridiculous how well it works. If you look at these 2 images here, you can see 2 actual real life pictures of human auras. So these are energy fields that emanate from the human body. Obviously the people are drawn in, but the auras are 100% real. As you can see, the one on the left, it's a disrupted energy field. The aura's got a lot of problems, especially around the head area, which isn't surprising. And which you can see on the right that they've got a perfect, beautiful aura on the right from someone there. And so which one of these, just looking, would you say was going to have the most well-being issues? Which one would you say is going to have the most physical issues? Which one of these do you think is going to have the most success in life? Which one's going to have the most joy and peace and freedom? And obviously the one that's got these disrupted energies, we can relate to the person that we've seen before with the low internal battery, this low vitality. And this is, of course, is what we don't want. So when we talk about energy work and energy therapy, I was exactly the same as probably what you're thinking right now, unless you already know what I'm going to talk about, unless you are of this opinion. It gives opinions of a bit woo-woo and a bit daft and a bit there's loads of different ways of doing this energy work. Here we see the chakras, which you're probably more familiar with, and at first it's like, oh, well, do these chakras really exist? And of course they do. This stuff goes back thousands of years, long before modern civilization that we are used to was even thought about. And in fact, it goes back to the Far East, to Eastern China. All of these energies have been mapped out. This book here was written 5,000 years ago, where it talks about these energy flows that are in the body. And this is, of course, the basis for what people use for acupuncture. And this is just, it's nothing new, what I'm about to share with you. It's absolutely incredible. So I thought it was all a load of rubbish at one point, but once you experience it, once you learn how it works, and once you work in a way that is more formulaic and more structured than some things that you may have done. I mean, some people may not want to do, crystals and all that kind of stuff. I'm going to show you a way where you don't need crystals. We don't need to puncture ourselves with needles like you have in acupuncture. I'm going to show you something that anybody can learn. You don't have to be a born healer, or you don't have to do anything like that whatsoever. Very easy to learn technique. I first discovered when I was really struggling badly, and the results have been phenomenal. So all that time ago, way back when I was struggling, I discovered what I'm about to share with you now, and it worked, and I was blown away, and I knew it was going to be my mission in life to get more of this out to people so that they can try it too, and that's what I've been doing ever since. I knew that if I would have the chance of doing something very, very special and possibly making a big difference, even if I just make a big difference in one person's life, that's something very special. So that's what this is all about. This is what emotional freedom is all about. So the technique that I discovered, which I absolutely adore, is emotional freedom techniques. I told you I'm already qualified in this, qualified in it twice actually. As you can see, it's based on Eastern energy teachings. Very simple to learn. I call it the ultimate in self-help. There's no tools necessary, there's no needles or crystals or anything like that. You only need your fingers, because all you're going to do is tap with your fingers gently on some specific acupuncture points. All you need to do is tap gently on these points, and it is highly effective at relaxation. It's highly effective at relieving anxiety. It brings the internal energies back into balance, and 99% of people I've ever worked with, ever shown it, ever tried it, feel more relaxed within minutes. Very, very good. And you can also use it to work with deeper issues, which we'll talk about in a second. It's just an absolute miracle. So it's called emotional freedom techniques, or EFT, or tapping, EFT tapping, because you're tapping on these points. If you think of acupuncture points, you're tapping on a small number of these points, because there are hundreds of these points. I think there's 361 general points, but we're talking about a handful of points that we're going to tap on with our fingers, and it alleviates this negative emotional energy from any issue that you want to work on. It's amazing. So this is all mentioned in the Emotional Freedom Fighters basic training manual. The points to tap on, how to tap, they're all in there. It's all in the guide. So all you need to do is to get this guide, and it has everything that you need in that guide. So I'm not going to go into detail now on how to tap in this video, because there's no need. So it really does work with serious issues. Here we see a study where over 20,000 war veterans, this is in the USA, 20,000 war veterans have recovered, as you can see there, recovered from PTSD using EFT. Now that will have been with an experienced, qualified EFT therapist. So this isn't the self-help side of it. There's the self-help side where it's great for relaxation, and you can work on some issues by yourself and see some fantastic results all by yourself. But obviously working with something like PTSD with a war veteran, it takes professional care. But it just shows how powerful it is. There's studies that have been done, and it is absolutely incredibly effective for anxiety, incredibly effective for depression, lots of different things like that. There's absolutely no excuse not to do it. It takes a couple of minutes a day, and I recommend it to everybody. It's one of the first things I recommend, so that's why it's in the guide, and it's just amazing. Another thing to do, obviously hundreds of thousands of people are tapping all over the world, even though you've never heard of it. It actually is happening, and they are teaching in some schools children how to tap for relieving anxiety, even small kids in the early years. It's so simple that children can learn it, and the feedback from a lot of kids is always really great. But there is a little problem with it. It does have some limitations, particularly if you're trying to work on complex issues all by yourself. Like I've said, it's not great for trying to heal your PTSD all by yourself. But then again, what is really, EFT does have limitations when trying to get to the deep sort of root cause, which trapped emotions are contributing to which issue. You're not going to know, because it's literally you're literally just tapping, and that's because a lot of information is hidden away in our subconscious mind. And this is a problem for almost every other method, of course, is that there is information in the subconscious mind that is not easily accessible. And that also includes our limiting beliefs. It's a bit like, when you can see the top of the iceberg, but there's 90% of the iceberg is under the water, hidden away from view, not easily accessible. Our subconscious mind is like that as well. 90% of our mind, and where these emotions are stored, and the particular things that we need to work on and deal with, the particular trapped emotions that we need to release, to get past certain issues. They get hidden away in the subconscious mind because it's just too painful to deal with at times, and that's where a lot of people can struggle. Also in the subconscious mind is limiting beliefs, which are something that constrain or inhibit us in some way. And just by believing in these false beliefs, we don't think, act or behave up to our potential in so many different ways. These limiting beliefs are in some ways just as powerful as trapped emotions, if not more, because they literally influence everything that we do. So luckily, we have now the way to access the subconscious mind very, very quickly and get the right information out to find out what specific trapped emotions and limiting beliefs we need to release for somebody, so that they can get relief for whatever issue it is that they need to deal with, so that they can heal whatever issue it is that they want to heal and get past. And this has absolutely transformed my own life, and I now get results for my clients faster than ever before. And this is subconscious mastery, which effortlessly unlocks hidden barriers that not even the best therapists can discover, even if you give them 10 years, because this hits the bullseye every single time. And it's just, honestly, you put these three things together and there's just no holding back. So the third thing is called muscle testing, or the technical term is applied kinesiology. So what does that really mean? Well, that is getting biofeedback from the body every time we ask a question. Every time you ask someone a question, their subconscious mind is going to answer. It's going to give a physical response in the body, positive or negative. So as long as you're asking a question that is yes or no, or it's a two-way question, it's either this or it's either that, the physical body gives a response. This is how polygraph lie detector tests work. It doesn't matter what the person says when they're being monitored by these polygraphs. Their body always tells the truth, and that's what they look for. They look for the body's response. But you don't need one of those lie detector machines. What you can do is literally test if the body stays strong for a yes answer, or goes weak for a no answer. What you can see here in this picture is the practitioner on the left muscle testing the client on the right arm to see if it goes weak when they ask a question. If it goes weak, then it's a no, and the arm will fall with just a little bit of pressure applied there on the wrist. If it stays strong, and with a little bit of pressure, the practitioner can't push it down, then that's a yes. So we're not going to go into exactly how it works, but basically we can ask the subconscious mind anything. We can ask what specific trapped emotions and limiting beliefs need to be released to help us overcome whatever problem we are facing in life. So I hope that makes sense. I'm not going to go into too much detail about muscle testing. I'll do more training, more videos on that, and how you can do it for yourself, how you can self muscle test so that you can get your own answers and you can work through your own issues all by yourself. Really powerful, really great. Now, one of the more remarkable things, which may be another leap of faith in your understanding and in your own belief systems, is that you can muscle test for somebody who isn't even present by what we call proxy or remote testing. In fact, there's no difference whatsoever muscle testing for somebody who is not only not in the same room as you, might not even be in the same building, but in a different country. Many of my clients, in fact the vast majority of them, I don't see face to face, and a huge proportion of my clients so far up to date are in a different country, because the subconscious works at a level that is deeper than what we basically understand. All of our subconscious minds are connected by a field that connects everything, and some people call this the quantum field, and it's a quantum connection. I don't understand enough about quantum physics to really say that is true or not, but we certainly connect through a subconscious field of energy, and the muscle testing that I can do on my own self could give me answers for somebody else. And I know that might be a leap of faith, but it really does work. Obviously, some cultures this is just obvious, it's just normal. We are all connected, and now we've found a structured way to actually work at this level without any problem whatsoever. And when we do, obviously we repair the energies within the body and we fill that internal battery back up. Your vitality goes back up, your cells can repair better, and life just flows beautifully. This is what is taught. This muscle testing and the energy work is taught in the emotion code. So as I said, I'm an emotion code practitioner, qualified in 2019, and I've helped hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, possibly thousands, over 1,000 people with the emotion code, and the results are absolutely incredible. And like I say, nearly all of them, over 99% of the people I've helped have been not only not present with me, but in different location altogether, and it makes no difference whatsoever because we are working at such a deep level. So as you can see there, Tony Robbins himself has endorsed the latest edition of the Emotion Code book, and he says, "I believe the discoveries in this book can change our understanding of how we store emotional experiences, and in doing so change our lives." And I'm sure most of you know who Tony Robbins is, but if you don't, he's basically the world's #1 sort of personal development self-help guru. And if it's got his seal of approval, then you know that there's something big going on worth paying attention to. This year I certified in the body code, which is the second level of the emotion code, which doesn't just release trapped emotions, but it releases imbalances from all the body. All sorts of energetic imbalances and misalignments in the body can be released just in exactly the same way with the subconscious connection and energy work. And when we release imbalances, it allows the body to reprogram itself back to what it wants to be. Your body has its own blueprint of how it wants to be and how it should be, but these imbalances, these energies, take it away from where it wants to be, and it creates ill health. So obviously this isn't for serious diseases. Obviously always consult your doctor first, but for certain things, as a complementary technique, this can see some remarkable results as well. And I'm already seeing some great feedback for physical issues, something I never thought that I'd be able to deal with. But it just shows the mind and body are connected 100%, and when you work at the level of energy, anything is possible at all. But of course, your first point of call is always to see your doctor first. So does it all work? Like at the end of the day, how am I going to prove to you that any of this is real, or it's all just a load of pie in the sky? Well, this is my website, emotionalfreedom.pro, and as you can see, we are on the testimonials page. At the top here, just some nice reviews of my book, which I mentioned earlier, and then some membership reviews. I'm going to talk to you about the membership in a moment. This was on bullying. One there talking about the daily clearing that we have in the membership. Cleared some blurry eye problem there, some pain, and there's another video there. And then just session reviews here. So there, as you can see, I don't know if you might have to zoom in, but I felt something changed. I'm deeply impressed by your work. Graham is amazing. I'm extremely grateful for what he's done for me. I feel the universe has sent you here to help us. I feel much better, actually, like a child with my eyes wide open, happy for the first time. Session with you months ago helped me a lot with anxiety. I felt much better, and I am more calm than ever before. I felt a sense of joy when Graham was clearing my emotions. I've had 2 sessions now, and I'm noticing a difference. For the last 20 years, I've tried millions of different methods to release this pain about her mother, but nothing has helped but Graham. Awesome work, I'm delighted. I've been trying various things to deal with my heartbreak and depression, but Graham's expertise has been one that really made an impact and is helping me deal with deeply rooted emotions that I didn't even know I had. I've got tons of these guys. These aren't all of them, obviously. I've got 2 years worth, and these are over two years nearly. of emotion code ones in particular. I was shocked by the result. I didn't know exactly when the session took place because it was a remote one. This lady lives in Poland, I believe. But I felt it. And I've also seen the difference in my son's behaviour. It was amazing. I recommend Graham. It works. I know it works. I've been through the process and very happy. It's wonderful. It's worth it. After the first session of emotion codes, I stopped feeling grief, sadness, anger, and many other adverse emotions. I wake up feeling that it's beautiful and everything will be fine. I live here and now and it's wonderful. Took off the heart wall, which is something that we'll talk about in another video, and raised the vibrations of the whole family at the same time. A husband and 6 children, so that's 8 people, and it was a big difference. Really recommended. So this is just a taste, an example of what you are welcome to experience if you choose to. So getting back to this guide that I keep talking about, you can download this guide from the website, and it's got everything you need to get started, everything you need to get tapping, everything you need to learn a bit more about emotions and to feel a bit more emotionally resilient. Immediately after you've put in your details to get the guide, you're taken to this screen here where you are offered the chance to share the guide on social media or in an email or WhatsApp or Messenger, or to just copy and paste this unique referral link at the bottom. Obviously that's my link. Everyone will get a different link with different numbers on. And when you share the guide, so you're going to share this guide that can help people and invite them to join the Emotional Freedom Fighters, you earn points and you earn rewards, so you can unlock certain things. As I've said, you can unlock a digital copy of my book. You can unlock my Inner Freedom workshop, which is basically a workshop training and workbook PDF to work through basically the understandings of what you've learned here and deeper knowledge from the book. The Emotional Resilience Revolution is a course that I made before I discovered the emotion code fully, to be honest. And this is a video course, a self-help course with over 30 videos about emotions, about emotional intelligence, emotional resilience, about EFT tapping, and it's fantastic if you want to learn to work through these things by yourself. Now, this course is available just by sharing a number of times or referring just 2 people to get the guide. You get this entire video course, and the idea is that you work through the course. It'll cost you 0, and then you can come to the meetings, ask questions and work through these problems all by yourself. Now, of course, there are paid options. One of my paid options is the Emotion Clearing Club, and you can unlock discounts for that club. This is a paid monthly membership where I release trapped emotions every single day, limiting beliefs every single day for my members. We have a members only meeting once a week for more advice. There's more training, of course, for the Emotion Clearing Club, more advanced stuff, more advanced training than what you would get from the Emotional Resilience Revolution. And people see great results with this because I do a lot of the work for them. I can't do everything for them. I'm not giving lots of one-to-one advice. It's basically a group clearing every single day to release what needs to be released for whatever it is that you are trying to work on. Now, I know that's a leap of faith for a lot of people. I know it's not easily understood. It's much easier to experience it and then try to understand some of these things than it is to understand it and then try and experience it. So that's why I give the first week for free for the Emotion Clearing Club. If you want to join my Emotion Clearing Club, you can try a full 7 days joining in with the group emotional clearing every single day for a whole week, and then decide what you want to do. There's no pressure. You don't have to sign up with a credit card or anything like that. You can literally just join my other Facebook group called the Emotion Clearing Club and try it out. All the training is written in the units, so all you need to do is work through, read what to do, and then get started. And you can join the meetings if you get stuck for additional support and help. Now, when you share the guide, you can earn discounts for the membership. so it can become even cheaper. It's not expensive. It costs about the same for one whole month for 30 days access plus the meetings and everything else. It costs about the same as one emotion code session with me. So instead of getting one emotion code session where I will release 10, 15, 20 trapped emotions for you, you can get a whole month's worth of membership access in what I like to call the club, where you can have far more yourself, but you know, it is different. It's very different from having a regular session, because you're not getting personalized reports. It's basically a clear for the group, and I don't do personalized individual reports as to what's being cleared, but you would get a report of what exactly is being cleared, which emotions, from when, how old you were when you trapped them as well, and any other relevant information. You get that when you order a regular emotion code session. And lastly, if you do want to go a little bit further, you want me to get more involved, you want me to take complete responsibility for all this work for you, you want me to release as much trapped emotions for you as I possibly can, release as many limiting beliefs for you as I possibly can, and tons more things that there's just not enough time to go into at the moment. If you want to learn what else I can do for you, I have my 90-day Inner Freedom Accelerator program. Obviously this is a premium program. This is more personalized support from me. Obviously it's more meetings, it's email support, it's one-to-one messenger support, it's whatever you basically need to really get past whatever it's holding you back in the next 90 days. Now obviously this is premium, it's not for everybody, but if you are interested in not having to do so much of the work for yourself, but you want me to do the grunt work for you, basically, this is my 90-day Inner Freedom Accelerator program. If you want to learn more about this now, I will send you the details. Just send me a message on Messenger, or however you want to send me a message, and I will send that over to you. So these are the options. You can see here we have the Emotional Freedom Fighters Facebook group, which you are in now and you've joined, and it's free. Obviously there's no specific members training area, there aren't any private group meetings, but we do have open group meetings. There's no energy clearings and there's no premium support. Obviously we have the Emotional Freedom Fighters membership, which is $7 a month, where you're going to get the emotional resilience training that I did before. I'm going to add to that more training all the time, and for $7 a month we will have private meetings so that you can work through these issues and get a little bit better priority support than what you would get in the Emotional Freedom Fighters open meetings. Then there's the Emotion Clearing Club, which is $59 a month, private members area, private group meetings once a week, energy clearing every single day, better support, $59 a month, about the same as I've said of just one single session, and you get a whole week to try it for free. And then there's the Inner Freedom Accelerator, which has private group meetings once a week, energy clearings, and that premium support that I've talked about. Now as you can see, there are asterisks for the membership area and the clearing club, because you can unlock these, as I've said before, with sharing. Okay, so that's it from me, guys. I hope you've enjoyed that. I hope you understand what I've talked about here. You probably have a lot of questions. Feel free to ask them. You can ask me privately, you can post below, and I'm more than happy to share and explain in any way that I can. But as you can see, there's a lot of potential here, and I'd love to get your feedback. I'd love for you to share this group, and we can really make a big difference to people. So you've listened to me talk for long enough now. I'll see you later. I'll see you at the next meeting, hopefully. Take care.
Grim helped me with this issue, and I was completely impressed. I'm super grateful for your work.
So Grim, thank you very much for sessions. I feel much better.
Oh, good.
And I feel much better from a week. So
great.
It's really amazing. Yeah.
And it's really powerful.